when I listen to our colleagues on the other side, I'm always baffled by the conversation because I feel like sometimes it maybe intentionally misses the points. We've talked and we will continue to talk about good public schools or passing public schools versus failing public schools, instead of talking about failing public policy, failing funding schemes, failing bureaucracy. We know that we have a system of inequitably funded schools in this country where the quality of your education can largely be determined by your zip code or your family's wealth. In my home commonwealth of Pennsylvania, our funding scheme was so inequitable that the court said we needed to go back to the drawing board. Republicans would love to believe that the solution is dismantling the Department of Education to give us local choice. But what they're actually giving us is the responsibility of subsidizing education to localities where people will pay higher property taxes to fund the discrimination of children. The burden of the federal government divesting from public education will be shouldered by first-time home buyers, for instance, in Pittsburgh, where homeownership is already becoming unsustainable, or by seniors in my home school district of Woodland Hills, those neighborhoods who are already strained and facing the loss of their Social Security benefits. These additional tax dollars will help charter and private schools hand-select students that will improve schools' outcomes while maximizing schools' bottom line. Our tax dollars won't help the children who will never be able to avail themselves of discriminatory school choices. Our public education system serves the child who is unhoused or transient, the child in the foster care system who doesn't have two well-connected parents to push for scholarships, or the family facing the digital divide, who will miss application deadlines reasonably, the child who didn't have access to Head Start or preschool like me, because we didn't invest in those. And that child is behind in reading. We need to invest in public education because it's the only option for children that so-called parents' rights movement has decided are not worth investing in. It's also no coincidence that the school choice movement is financed by billionaires like Jeffrey Yass from my Commonwealth, who's trying to turn my state's education system into his own personal business. But a business's priority is to his stakeholders, and children have no stake in the economic model of school choice. Ms. Levin, I want to ask you about charter schools run by for-profit management companies, as you ended in the last question line. If a company is maximizing profit, it's not spending all public dollars on students, especially students who require more resources, which is why charter schools educate fewer students with disabilities than traditional public schools. In your opinion, Ms. Levin, are these for-profit charter management companies maximizing profit at the cost of students and families?
Yes.